Hi, my name is Emily Smith. I'm in Strawberry Mansion section of Philadelphia. And today on Outside Linguistics, we want to talk about the dynamics of substance use, mental health, and the conditions that are associated with it. Our guest today is Gene Williams, and he's a tenant in PHA Housing, and he has some experience and strength and hope to offer us about the dynamics of his medication management, his mental health factor when he had found out during his life experience with diabetes he had developed neuropathy, and he had to go through a process with his physician to determine how his limbs would be taken away. So, but before we get to that with Gene, I want to just put a little shout out to some who may be listening. If you're in need of an intervention, you can call American Addiction Center at 855-805-8950, or I found another number in the watershed community around North Carolina, it looks like, and the number is 1-866-60-7489. And those things are important too, because as we move, I had discovered on one of the web pages in disability.gov that the Division of HUD is supplying supportive funding for people with disabilities to prevent homelessness and incarceration. And they said they will provide at least $120 million in rental assistance. And we have a concern as disability people as we network and our integration process. And some of the things that we may get set aside and put down about as we try to achieve a long-term sustainable relationship as low-income people. Yes, disability people have limited income as what HUD reflects. And we have different dynamics. We're not just here to be drugged people, to be victimized by the improper usage of it when we fall into an addiction. And we want those things to be understood, that when we move away from our churches, our mosques, our synagogues, that we try to meet the proper adjustment. And this is one of the reasons why I want to speak about today a special scripture in Philippians, the 3rd chapter, that discusses how we forget the things that we left behind. And that's in Philippians, the 3rd chapter, and we strain towards what is ahead. And in the misuse of substances, you try to press on forward, knowing that you left your addiction behind. And Jesus has a word in the gospel that provides that. That's not limited to, but we know we have people that choose different avenues to deal with it, like through 12-step program. Some people use meditation and different things like that. And that's a wonderful thing to do, to find yourself at a place where, your families, your friends, even young folks are not able to love you the way they used to. When they see you out of the normal way they had learned how to love you. So as we move further on into this process, let's take that into consideration, so that way disability people won't be isolated and left alone and feeling like, for myself as a woman, still being perceived that when I leave improper ways and I meet people through the judicial system, through the PO administration, even perhaps, to move into a better life, that I don't have to come to a new place of living and hold on to a codependent lover and be beat up, and everybody says this is fair housing for me when I don't choose that, because I want to do what the word says, and that means press on. And then when we move to what we have learned, which is in Philippians, the 4th chapter, around the 10th verse, going to the 11th to the 14th, when we find out that we have learned that we can move away from what we left behind. In every situation, we can become apprehended. So we're going to move out of this particular conversation and move over to Gene Williams. And Gene, I just would like you to just share with hopefully some people that may pick up on this prompt session, and say how you feel. Where were you at when you first found out that you had to have your limbs taken away? What was your mindset? How did it affect your recovery process? Could you talk about it a little bit, please?
Okay. My name is Gene Williams. I'm gonna talk a little bit about me. That's what I could do. First of all, I had a problem with drugs. I was living to use and using to live. I mean, I was killing myself. I found out I had to get tired. I had got tired. That's the only way I surrendered. I had to surrender. And so what I did, I just got tired of it, and I got some help. I needed help through the 12-step program. So I got that help I needed by making NA meetings, and found out that worked. So as I went to started making meetings, and I got the help I needed. I had already had diabetes. I had diabetes for a while now, almost like 25 years or 30 years now. And I had it bad. I'm taking insulin. I had type 2 diabetes. And so I started making meetings, and I stayed clean. I got like 15 years clean now, clean as a brand. So, and during that time, I needed to get spiritual, so I joined the church. I also joined the church, and so I could get more spiritual, and find out that it worked for me, going to church and making meetings. So during that time, I found out I had diabetes. When my diabetes started acting up on me, I had put on some black socks. I made a mistake and the dye got caught up in my foot, and I got an infection. And what happened, I had to go to the hospital, and they told me that the infection started spreading it all up and down my leg, and it started spreading, and I was in the hospital for 3 months. I was done for 3 months. I was in the hospital. I didn't they gave me about 10 different operations before they amputated my left leg below the knee, and I couldn't I was out of it. I've been having on all kind of medicine, pain medicine. I was in so much pain, and I was worried about getting addicted to the medicine because I'm allergic to it, but I had to take it.
And excuse me, Jen, and you were doing all this in your PHA subsidized department, right?
Yeah,
all this had manifested as you moved to the hospital.
Yeah, when I moved from the hospital, when I came out the hospital, that's when I got my place. I was in the process of getting it because I was on the list. When they amputated my leg, they moved me up on the list. And so then I was staying with my mother, and then they called me and told me that they found me a place. So then I came here, and I liked it, and so I moved in.
And then you went into another phase where you had to go back to the hospital and deal with how you was going to deal with the loss of another piece of your name. Like you went through 2 cycles.
Right.
One before you got the PHA, and while you was here, you had to go through that whole process again.
Right.
Yeah, and explore that. Explain on that how your orthodontics came and how he took care of you and your mental aspect while you were living here.
Yeah, well, I lost some more toes on my right foot due to the diabetes. Lost all my toes, and I had to deal with the nurses. I had home care nurses, and they was coming every day for a while, and I had to deal with them. They bandaging me up and fixing my bandages, and it was really hard because I'm used to getting about, and I'm a independent person, And I know I'm used to getting around, and I can't believe, it was hard to believe that I could get around with without my limbs. And I also had to get some mental help because I knew my mind started racing and voices. I started hearing voices, so I went and got me a psychiatrist.
Amen.
And I go see him once a month, and I go see social psych once a week. So I had to get plugged in with that too, because so I had someone I go down on every Monday and talk about my problems with.
And talk about how the minister helped you to ease into that, because sometimes the racial disparity over people, and I'm not saying no other culture, European, African, or Spanish, doesn't go through it, but maybe they'll come forward and hit us up on the YouTube about it. That our ministers help us to feel comfortable, because a lot of times as African people we get made to feel that personally, that we're going to be considered delusional, having hallucinations, when the word clearly says that the Lord can speak to you. And sometimes we're away from them, and that some of the people that might pick up on this prompt know how the ministers and the saints made you feel comfortable to reach out to them and know how to respond to them when you say, hey, I'm not hallucinating, it's something going on, and it's possibly my anxiety, for instance. How, relay on that, how it helps you to meet your psychiatrists, our ministers and things.
Well, because God is spiritual, he's not,
Amen.
we know none of us don't see him. So I look at it like this, I know I got to talk to God. They tell you got to pray. So praying is talking to God, and you got to wait on him with meditation. To hear from him, you got to meditate, talk, and pray and meditate. You got to ask him first, what you want, and then wait on him. So to ask him, you got to talk to him. You must be talking to yourself, but because you hear in spirit. That's what you got to get used to. People might think you're crazy. Now you do, well, why he doing what he doing? But that's the only way to God. You gotta have a one-on-one. You gotta have a relationship with God. So that's make that an understand. As long as he understand, it's okay.
Well, thank you so much. And the importance of Jean's story is to let you know that diabetes is still, they don't have a cure for. It's very sustainable, but it's still complications that they can endure. And these are some of the type of tenants that PHA has that struggles with their addiction crisis. And when we're released from certain hospitals and different things, we're outsourced because we have those limited kinds of funding. And that we try to grow. Also, as we build on this form of disability network, we hope to share it with other people, because we know as disabilities, we live outside this world with other people, and we just don't want to be perceived that mainly y'all gonna put it on a young boy that's coming down here, victimizing us, that we try to provide. So if anyone wants to take a donation, to give some of the young guys that are artistic, that provide us with graphic support, that we can see young boy coming to the building, getting a suggested donation. I live at 1745 North 31st Street in Philadelphia, apartment B. And you can send donations in care of Cultural Precepts, because we try to find them in between stipend jobs, while they're meeting more appropriate or more, I guess, elite standard of people. I don't know, what it means, but I'm saying all that we have, we can see the young boy not beating us up, hitting us, and that's not the familiar place a person like myself has been in and had a lot of experiences. I'm not saying I haven't had people, when I lived in homelessness myself, do things to me improperly, but a little bit there is more like, if you wasn't homeless, maybe somebody wouldn't have beat you up, black in your eye, and took your pocketbook. I don't know if that's just a condition of homelessness or conduct of a person. that wants to not let go of the urge to find a more safer way to get their money than an unsafe way. So I thank all who may hear it. I hope what Jean had said gave someone today a better way and a better thought at looking at how to deal with their recovery remission and mental health remission with a terminal and sustainable illness such as diabetes. Thank you and have a good day.